Tony Hawk 4 was a pretty good game, good enough that Activision released it twice, once for grown-ups and one more time for babies. It's Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, and it's like a really good beta or demo version of a Tony Hawk game. It uses the same engine as Tony Hawk 4, and it mostly shows. If not for a limited trick list and some odd structural choices, Extreme Skate Adventure would be of nearly identical quality as its parent game. Let's talk about what I like most about this game before we dig deeper into why this is the oddball of Activision's extreme sports lineage. First thing I like is the soundtrack, whose bizarre playlist both contributes to the game's quality and abnormality. There's a song by Real Big Fish, they're a third-wave ska band if you're not familiar, and they have a song called Sell Out. It's about how you should work a fast food job instead of signing a predatory recording contract. This song is in this game, a game which prominently features McDonald's product placement. It's an endorsement that obliterates the boundaries of good taste because McDonald's is the center of a goal you need to complete in order to beat the game. Extreme Skate Adventure sold over 500,000 copies across all platforms, so you know that a bunch of people bought this for their kids, unwittingly paying $50 for a McDonald's advertisement. I cannot put into words just how exploitative and absurd this all is, but it's kind of comical that Sell Out is in the game's soundtrack amidst all this nonsense. Nokia gets in on the advertising action as well, and the in-game Nokia salesman looks a lot like Wreck-It Ralph. The remainder of Extreme Skate Adventure's soundtrack has some pop-punk, but it's more like the pop-punk that 9-year-olds enjoy. Not the cool kind that 14-year-olds listen to. There's a little bit of Lil Romeo, there's a Smash Mouth song, there's some plastic Disney focus group pop, there's even Christian rock. Throw some post-grunge angst in the form of Trust Company's Downfall in there, and you have one of the most random soundtracks ever assembled. It's a weird mix of genres, but I like that. Could you imagine if this game had G.G. Allin songs in it? Four different realms make up Extreme Skate Adventure's world, 3 of which are based on movies. Those movies are Toy Story, The Lion King, and Tarzan, and developer Toys for Bob did a good job at repurposing these properties into digital skate parks. You get to skate around Andy's Room and Pizza Planet, which look awesome and have imaginative props everywhere. The Lion King and Tarzan levels lack a comparable level of visual interest. I understand including The Lion King that made almost $1 billion when it was in theaters, but Tarzan could have been replaced with something more interesting. I have seen Tarzan, and I remember little of it except for the Phil Collins songs in its soundtrack. Taking this game's 2003 release date into consideration, Aladdin or Monsters, Inc. would have been better choices. Imagine Aladdin treating his magic carpet like a skateboard. Monsters, Inc. had a ton of memorable characters that would have looked cool on a skateboard as well. There are some really neat roller coaster style grinding lines in Tarzan, but the environment looks like a jungle. Millions of movies look like this, millions of games look like this. The Lion King's levels don't have a ton of visual personality either, but at least that movie had a few memorable locales that you can see in Extreme Skate Adventure. On the whole, level design is pretty good. They are mostly simple to navigate, and the aforementioned roller coaster style sections are addictive. They are very big but sparse at the same time. Too much open space is wasted where there could have been more ramps, half-pipes, bowls, and rails. Each character has 25 icons to collect in the levels which permit their presence. This incentivizes exploration, and you'll find that this particular goal is very reminiscent to what you'd be doing in a platforming game featuring the same licenses. It is harder to jump around on a skateboard, and since this game didn't use the Tony Hawk's Underground engine, you cannot traverse the environments on foot. Again, every character has this goal, and even though their specific icons are always in slightly differing spots around the map, it becomes tedious near the end. 4 characters per movie, 3 levels per movie. Do the math. Because I can't. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater number 4 innovated the genre it single-handedly defined. Gone was the 2-minute session structure, and in its place were open-world levels, which allowed players the freedom to complete goals at their own pace in an order of their choosing. This was a massive departure from the first 3 Pro Skater games, but Neversoft kept elements in place which molded the Tony Hawk games into a replay value powerhouse. You still played career mode with every skater because each one offered different goals and hidden content unique to their campaign. This is why why playing through the same levels over and over again was so enjoyable, but Extreme Skate Adventure diverges from such a practice. Human characters in Extreme Skate Adventure can be dispatched to any level, but Disney characters are segregated into the stages based on their movies. This means that Buzz Lightyear can't skate in Tarzan's jungle, and Rafiki can't visit Andy's room. That would have been a lot of fun, and I can't come up with a good reason why the developers wouldn't give you the opportunity to create these crossovers. Even within this game's strange rules against movie mixing, its design has flaws. You can pick from a simple list of stages with every Disney character, but this doesn't apply to the kid skaters. Only they can go into all the levels, but only through Ollie World, which doubles as a gateway into the rest of the game. It is convoluted and annoying and creates a problem that its parent series does not have. You want to complete every goal and collect every little scrap of content in the Tony Hawk games. If there was an objective or item you skipped over in Pro Skater, you could pick the applicable character and stage in just a few seconds through the menu. Extreme Skate Adventure's process was demotivating in a way that its predecessors never managed. I think Tarzan's inclusion could have been replaced with a more interesting movie, but the collection of skaters here is satisfactory. However, Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King are here, and they are two of the most morally reprehensible characters ever created. Recall that these butt buddies convinced Simba to shirk his duties as would-be king in favor of bug chasing. That's what these bestial rakes really mean by Hakuna Matata. Get the gift, Simba, get it from your creepy uncle. They don't care. No worries for the rest of your days. You know, if an anally injected death sentence doesn't count as a worry. If you played this before, you know about the inclusion of a weird pro controls toggle. You also know to turn on pro controls because it activates the typical Tony Hawk control scheme. Leaving pro controls off gives you a weird setup. These simplified controls were designed with novices in mind, but Tony Hawk's inputs were already simple. It was as pick up and play as a skating game could be, something that's still impressive to me given the tremendous trick variety offered in the series. Bunches of kids were already playing Tony Hawk, but I guess Activision and Disney were hoping to attract an audience of babies who like Disney stuff but weren't familiar with skating games. Tony Hawk's masses of secret content cannot be ignored. You can skate as Wolverine and Kelly Slater in the third Pro Skater game, and Kelly Slater rides a surfboard while doing skateboard tricks. Also, there exists the monstrosity that is the Neversoft eyeball. Neversoft had a ton of great ideas for hidden characters, but they basically used the same animations as the other skaters in the games. Every character had a vaguely human shape, enabling this continuity. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure has Woody and Buzz Lightyear available to choose as skateboarders. They have all their limbs in the right places, but the inclusion of animal characters like Simba creates an issue. Most of these animal characters are on all four limbs. They are not meant to skate. To compensate for this limitation, Toys for Bob had to make new animations and tricks for all of them. I guess creating a 1-to-1 ratio of tricks between this and Tony Hawk wasn't in the budget. I don't fault the game too much for this, but it does drastically limit the variety of stunts, putting further emphasis on level exploration, so the game did gain an advantage proportional to this shortcoming. More exploration is not a bad thing at all, but I'm playing what is essentially a Tony Hawk game, so I want to do Tony Hawk things. I don't mind that every level goal is easier than your mom, because I know I'm playing something for youngsters, and it allows me to see most of the game more quickly. But it would have been nice if the single session game mode was here. Tony Hawk 4 got rid of this format in relation to its goal structure, but still kept it around as a means of logging high scores. I think single session was omitted in Extreme Skate Adventure to mask the lack of different tricks each character has, and the high score would see a lot of point inflation thanks to highly forgiving manual and grind balance controls. It's almost impossible to bail off of a grind in this game because that needle hardly moves at all. Even if a game has a plethora of unlockable content, you will see it all eventually. But a game mode which tracks your high scores adds a potentially infinite element of replay value. There are a number of complaints in this review, and Extreme Skate Adventure did bother me in these respects, but I still think it is worth your time. Of all the quirks and hiccups it possesses, none of them ruin the good times. If you've committed every Tony Hawk game to memory, this title will give you at least a few hours of entertainment. It's a neat footnote on Tony Hawk's video game legacy. Developer Toys for Bob was careful not to urinate in its metaphorical pool or bed. The game has unique levels it controls just like Tony Hawk 4, and every completed goal unlocks new layers of customization for created skaters. Create a Skater mode is very very well done. Its robust editing option surprised me. There's just a lot of stuff here to appreciate. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure does not get my highest recommendation, but if you can find it at the right price, it's just fine.
Looks like I got me one of these mobile phones. Behold its siren song. That's it. Oh!